elevating that game up, stepping up to the competition. Only first place, and that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate. All in when I show up, whole place about to blow up. Superior to that competition. I'm in first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. Watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate.
Broken dreams in my pocket, golden thing round my neck like a locket. Carve your name in my mind, cause you caught it, you caught it. You're golden, golden, honestly you know it. Me under the street light at the young so I could show you. You're golden, golden, honestly you're glowing. Me under the mezzanine just so that I could show you. You're golden, yeah, you're golden, you're golden, yeah, you're golden, golden, yeah.
As we're about to go green here at Spa, and we are green, and away we go.
I see your face, I feel your heart beating here in this place. Pain has no meaning.
No, he's ran wide and Ripper's down the inside through Pull.
He's going to try and fight back. He's going to stay down the inside. Ripper's going to go all the way around the outside.
Why you had to go? I wish you were near. I'll keep you right here beside me.
Nexus just pushes him wide, and Flava stays there. He's on the outside of Buon. Here comes Breeze. Nexus is not obviously having to defend from a Honda. He has to defend from the McLaren.
As the night begins to fade away to yesterday, I wanna stay in this moment here. I need to know which way to go. Now take me home. As the night begins to fade away to yesterday, I wanna stay in this moment here with you. In this moment here with you. In this moment here with you.
Hitman comes home and he wins round 3, a different winner. It is Hitman who crosses the line and wins the race. Ripper though, what a drive from the back of the pack as the Silver crosses the line in P13, unlucky 13 to some. As here comes Ripper towards the line. He will finish P2. What a drive from him. Great stuff from him. Benno will come home in P3. To the corner first, it is a green start here and is Ripper towards turn 1. Attacking Breeze down the inside of 2 on. There you go, and Breeze will have to yield that position. Here comes Gary 131. Start of Spa, but it is going to be Ripper to win round 4 of the championship here at Spa. Ripper is your winner for tonight's race. De Silva comes home for P2, best he could do on those wets, as Benno will come and complete the podium.
First place, and that's how I'm living. I'm with it till they digging up my grave. Eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate.
As we're about to go green here at Spa, and we are green, and away we go.
I see your face. I feel your heart beating here in this place. Pain has no meaning. I need to know I'm not alone. Now take it home as the night begins to fade away to yesterday. I wanna stay in this moment here with you. I know in this life we take what we're given, and the sun may still rise, but your light is missing.
Driving on, driving away.
Oh, De Silva's in the wall.
Now take it home as the night begins to fade away to yesterday. I wanna stay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to SimPlay Motorsport. My name is Dan Davis, and bringing you the action once again here for the pros on track tonight. Joining me in the commentary box once again every Thursday night is my good friend PNMotorsport. PN, how are we doing this fine evening?
I'm doing good. I'm just checking that we're coming out on stream.
I'm pretty sure we should be. I made sure all of this is unmuted. I'm making sure that we have sound. I'm pretty sure everybody should hear us. But you can confirm that if you can, please. But either way, we are live.
We're working.
Yes.
We've got audio.
Oh my God, I'm getting the hang of this, slowly but surely. We are live here for round 3 of the season. It is round 3, isn't it? It is round 3.
It is round 3.
It is round 3. Round 3.
Already.
3 of 10, and we are here at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, for the 3rd round of the championship here in beautiful Spain. And PN, one thing that we do have to comment here tonight already is we haven't got any rain. Oh, beautiful sunshines. I'm in my lovely rainbow bikini, enjoying getting a tan, and it's going to be a glorious day of racing here tonight for sure. As a couple of guys are now coming back into the session. First things first, PN, let's talk about obviously Barcelona, Catalunya circuit. What do we think of this track? Let's get your opinions on the circuit.
I can't say what I really think because we're live, but I don't.
You're not a fan.
I don't like the final chicane, which has now luckily been removed from F1 and all international car racing, still there for the bikes. But for the bikes, that kind of makes sense because they're a bit quicker in the straight line in a car. Because they weigh nothing.
That is very true, but yep, all the guys saying we're sounding fine, which is great to hear. And I'll just end the poll there. We are ready to go racing here tonight, and yeah, it's definitely a circuit that's it's a Marmite circuit. A lot of people love, hate it. It's definitely a track that I think for Formula 1 and other testing as well, it's great for testing here because obviously it's a mixture of high-speed corners with low-speed corners and medium-speed corners, but obviously that nasty chicane at the end of the sector is not the best of chicanes. But either way, we are here for round 3, and obviously with this layout, the track, I did have it here, there it is. With the current layout, it is 4.6 kilometers long, and the length is, if you want it in miles, is 2.9 miles, 16 corners, and the lap record is actually held by Max Verstappen in the Red Bull in 2021 of 118.1. Track was open in 1991 and began hosting the Spanish Grand Prix. I was going to say British Grand Prix then. Construction also conceived of the Olympic Games scheduled to take place at Barcelona as well the next year. So it's quite a an important facility, obviously, for modern Formula 1 and obviously just overall for sport in general. It is capacity of 140,700 people, and is a FI grade 1 license, and obviously has to be for F1 to be here. Obviously the reasoning being with the new layout, they had to redesign it for motorbikes really, and at PN, because obviously the way like I said, motorbikes are a lot faster around here. Cars can obviously turn better, more easily to adapt around this circuit, but obviously the hairpin that's no longer there is now more like sweeping left-hander, and we've obviously got rid of the chicane.
Yeah, luckily. Which is also a version we actually now have in GT7, believe it or not. GT7's beating Assetto Corsa and updating its tracks.
It definitely is, as we are stuck on this version, but hey, it definitely gives these guys a challenge nonetheless. A quick look at practice here. I'm trying to just blabber on because we've got a lot of practice to get through here. So far, who is looking like the man to keep an eye on tonight? Obviously, Overtaker top of the session at the minute, but Ripper is only just below a 10th behind him. But Benno looking quite good in the Bentley, and to be honest, Peaceful Explosion is not too far away as Fury now goes up into P3. A lot of these guys starting to get some decent times. Even Ripper just improves a little bit more. Who would your money be on for the minute, looking at this layout?
Well, we're looking for the reverse grid for race 1. Overtaker starting 3rd in that race.
I believe so. I will get the list out.
So, yeah, watch Overtaker. He's got an opportunity for some points today. But you can't count out Ripper or De Silva, even though De Silva's not yet done a lap. But give him time. He'll bang one out.
He will.
The spread from 1st to 14th, there were only a second and a half between them. That is quite a close pack when you compare like Pro-Am yesterday. It was like 5-6 seconds from 1st to wherever I was.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Breeze and De Silva to set a lap time as well, so they're still not too far off. But even just the top 9, they're all within that second bracket. And this is the beauty thing about circuit Barcelona, Catalunya. It is the fact that it's such a level playing circuit. It's not one car is dominant around here. Various cars can be quick around here, as you got pretty much, you've got five manufacturers in the top 5. You've got the McLaren, Audi, Lexus, Bentley and Honda all taking up the top 5 positions. Then you've got another Audi and followed by a Lexus, then a Bentley as well. So it all plays out that way. The current reverse grid looks like this. It should be F1 Bill will be starting on pole position ahead of Hitman, with Overtaker in 3rd. Shane will start 4th. 5th will be Killer Camel. 6th will be David, but I don't think David's here tonight, so that means Euro will go up into 6th place position. I believe Euro is here.
Euro is back in the session.
He is in the session. So Euro will be moving up to 6th place position. Benno, aka Nexus, will move up to 7th. Matthew Duffin, aka Matahimovic, will move up to 8th. I'm reading the Discord names here. Matahimovic will move up to 8th. Then you got Emplava will move up to 9th. Then we got Benno move up to 10th place position. Fury will start in 11th. Peaceful Explosion will start 12th, and the Wolfinator will start 13th. Then we got Breeze, who will start in 14th position, and then De Silva will be 15th, and Ripper up the back of the pack will start last, obviously because he's the championship leader. Now, speaking of the championship, PN, let's have a quick rundown. I kind of guess what you all can figure out there is Ripper is leading the way with 4 points ahead of De Silva. Breeze in 3rd. 4th is Wolfinator, who's level on points to Breeze at the minute, so that's quite a tight fight at the minute. Peaceful Explosion all the way up to 5th place after 2 solid rounds. He's in 5th. T is currently in P6 with Fury in P7. P8 is Benno with Emplava in P9. P10 is Matimovic and Gary131 in 11th. Both of them equal on points as teammates. Obviously Gary not here on holiday. It is Matt here racing this week instead, as it was just Gary last time out. Nexus is in P12 with Euro in P13. 14th is David with 15th is Killer Camel. 16th is Shane. Overtaker in 17th. 18th is Hitman. Big Boy Brazier still yet to score points, as is F1 Bill. And that's a rundown of your drivers. Your teams is Killer Performance leading the way, with JWB Esports Racing 2 in P2, SimPlay Racing in P3, Jaeger Motorsport in P4, Teletubby Motorsport in P5, P6 is JWB Racing, and Button Bashers bringing up the rear in 7th. Regarding the manufacturers, McLaren's way out in front, 244 points ahead of Bentley, with Ferrari in 3rd, Porsche in 4th, Aston Martin 5th, 6th is Honda, 7th is Audi, 8th is Lexus, 9th is BMW, 10th is Mercedes, 11th is Nissan, and Lamborghini bringing up the rear in 12th place position. And that is your championship standings after round 2. As we say, good evening to Wolfinator. Currently, not a lot of people in the chat. Come on, guys, let's get yourselves in here and chatting to us live on the stream. As we're currently watching Breeze, he has got a lap time on the board, but it is Overtaker who is leading the way as Ripper now comes back out on track. And Benno coming into the final sector. He looks like he's about to complete a lap, so we'll see him across the line. But PN, already the championship looking very, very close between Ripper and De Silva. Your championship leader is in 2nd place, but your defending champion has now gone out on track and in his gold livery. What can De Silva do tonight? He had quite a mixed round at Spa. 1 minute he was at the back of the pack. He had to have a drive through as well. And then race 2 he came back strong and wasn't able to beat Ripper that day. But either way, he is looking like he needs to redeem himself after a poor Spa.
Indeed. Well, at least you don't have to worry about putting the wet tyres on this week.
No, definitely not, as he's currently in the middle sector. His real challenge is obviously coming from the back of the pack. Obviously, Ripper will start further behind him. But it's really about keeping your nose clean, especially with these reverse grids. It's always about just working your way through the pack bit by bit. Half an hour is not very long either, so anything can happen in between the start to the end of the race. And I think with De Silva, who really needs to start outscoring Ripper quite consistently, so we now see more drivers getting closer to that 44 mark, as it's now 20 thousandths of a second between Ripper, 78 thousandths for Benno, and then now F1 Bill has got himself below 2 tenths, so all these guys relatively close. Matahimovic sitting in 9th at the minute.
And in the pits. Yeah, the track temperature since the session started has climbed 2 degrees, and that's got to make a hell of a difference on tyres. But just, whoa, as De Silva launched it over the curb.
He did indeed really push, testing the limits, as you can see, as a couple. Oh, sorry.
As everyone's been keeping Dan up at night, with probably all the tickets that went in from Pro-Am last night.
Yeah, keeping me up. Yeah, absolutely. I'm absolutely knackered from looking at all of those tickets. Anyway,
Oh, overtaken with a power slide headed into the final chicane, as I jumped over to watch Overtaker.
Yeah, I think we've overtaken at the minute. Obviously, we've made a few adjustments and changes to the server and settings, and I think obviously we found that the controllers seem to have like a little handicap to help them out last season. This season, they're obviously going to have to work a lot harder this season.
That explains why I suck more.
Sorry?
That explains why I suck more now in Pro-Am.
But
here I come.
I mean, you might be seeing me there when I make my return. I think as well, these guys have got a lot of work to do. Obviously, the guys on the wheel they have more feel. Obviously, PN, yourself as a controller man, I'm more of a wheel man. And I feel like with the wheel, you have more control, you have more feel. You know what the car is doing. I say that I've broken my wheel tonight, so that's not really going to do much help for me when I'm practicing. But I feel like with the controller, especially on this game, you could get away with it on Project Cars. Project Cars is more adaptable to the controller, but I think on this game you really do have to be precise and nail every turn in.
Really? I was terrible on Project Cars 2 on the controller. I mean, I think I was lapped every race I did in with Clio's. And that was only a 20-minute race, so that just shows how bad I am.
Yeah. Well, either way, we are racing here tonight. We've still got 7.5 minutes still of practice session, which this practice session has gone on for a while now. I think the server may have been adjusted wrong, but either way, we got a long practice session here. The guides at the minute are just slowly finding a little bit more time. Let's see how good I am at figuring out these cams, because I want to try and do a lap with somebody.
You might get locked out, to be honest, and have to rejoin. That's what I find every time I go on board with someone. That's it, I'm stuck on board. All the cars.
Well, we are on board with the Wolfinator. I would give it a go, but I'm pretty sure my game will lock me out, so we'll just do it from the outside. It's easier that way, I think. Right, so into the final corner we go now with Wolfinator, and it's all about getting a good exit out of the final corner to then set yourself up for a good lap down the back straight. Main straight. There's not really much you need to do down this straight. It's not really a lot of straight line speed you'll need here as he hits the braking zone for just at the 50-meter mark and hits the turn of turn 1 into turn 2, and then try and look for the apex of turn 3. You want a late apex here. Wolfinator choosing an earlier apex, and you want to hold on tight. The car want to naturally drift off to the left, but you want to keep it tight, try and hold it in for as long as possible as you head up towards turn 4, taking all the track limits as you dare. And then again, turn 4, another long sweeping right-hander. The car and the tyres are going to be screaming at you already as you then drop down towards turn 5, making sure you hit the brakes right as it's downhill, tricky braking zone as it constantly moves downhill. Try and get a good exit out of turn 5, heading towards turn 6. Doesn't really exist as you then head into turn 7. Heavy braking zone and try and abuse the curves as much as you can into 8. And then it brings you up to the top of the hill of turn 9. Fast right-hander. It looks like you can take more speed, but actually you can't as it tends to change elevation as you get to the top. Done turn 9, down towards turn 10, the heavy braking zone of the hairpin. Make sure you know you're braking a straight line so you can get the best turn in as you exit up to then turn 11 over the curb and then into 12. Again, at this point your tyres are screaming, they're dying, they want to give up as you then come towards the end of the circuit. Couple of corners left to go. Turn 13. A corner you can take a lot more speed than you actually think into it, and then into the final tricky chicane, 14 and 15, making sure you don't hit those curbs too hard, and then into turn 16, the final corner, and finally you can relax for a little bit. And that is a lap around circuit to Catalunya, Barcelona, and across the line Wolfinator does not improve as Ripper is now fastest man of the session. He's now done a 44.6, and already Ripper is showing what he can do.
Into De Silva just went fastest.
Whoa, Ripper, yeah, De Silva does a 44.2. Good lap there for De Silva. So these boys are going to have to find a little bit more in the tank. As you can see now, McLaren up the top. We just need Breeze and Wolfinator up there to complete the set.
Or to make the session completely boring.
You're really not a fan
of McLaren.
No, I thought
not. Not that McLaren. Not I like the 650S. I think the 650S has more of a character to it. This one just looks a bit dull. And I didn't really like it when I tried it for Season 1.
Well, either way, it is now De Silva at the top of the session. He's back into the pit straight away. Overtaker towards the line. Any improvement from him? No, he will stay at P3 at the minute. F1 Bill. We haven't seen much of F1 Bill this season. We saw him briefly, and now he's currently on track. Into the final sector he goes. He's only 0.6 off of De Silva. Probably take a little bit of track limits on exit there as he then heads towards the main straight. Towards the line he comes, and no improvement. Currently slowest of the session at the minute is Hitman, with Emplava not too far in front of him, with Wolfinator still struggling at the minute to find a little bit of pace here. A lot of guys in the pits, and it's been a long practice session. We still need to get into qualifying at the minute. But De Silva,
no qualifying yet.
No qualifying yet. No, we got to go into a straight to reverse grid. Sorry, I forget about qualifying.
Yeah.
I'm so used to qualifying.
It is a bit of a struggle, really.
So the quick running of the order of this practice session. De Silva leading the way with Ripper in second. Third is Overtaker. Benno is in fourth. Fifth is F1 Bill at the minute, with Killer Camel currently in sixth place, the highest of the Lexuses, with Fury currently P7. Breeze crosses the line to go P8 now, with Nexus in 9th. 10th is Peaceful Explosion. 11th is Matimovic, and 12th is Euro. 13th is Shane. 14th is Wolfinator, and Plava is 15th, and Hitman is 16th. But anything can happen in this event. You and I both know, PN, that a reverse grid can change anything and everything about your race. As we say good evening to Mummy D, and also we say good evening to Ben, aka Nexus, as well. Hope we're all doing well. Let's hear you guys in the chat. Who do we think is going to win the first race of the night? Looking at the reverse grid, it's looking like Overtaker has a very solid chance.
Yeah, let's just hope it's a clean first lap, because, you know, sometimes they get a little bit touchy. And rubbing is racing. What's said in the film?
Rubbing is racing, but another one I've seen is that what? Surely that's what a bumpers are for, isn't it? For rubbing.
Yeah.
As I now put a poll out on who we think will win this one. Coming to you, actually, PN. Who do you think is going to win this one?
Overtaker.
You think so?
I think it'll be Overtaker for race 1 anyway.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go. I reckon it'll be Ripper.
What?
I reckon Ripper.
Last to first?
Last to first. You can overtake here and also pit stops. You know?
Yeah, but someone as fast as Overtaker can be, because I have seen him do 42s, but that was a long time ago, on a cooler track than this, around here.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing those 42s anytime soon. Those 42s is a big jump, mind, so we'll see, but either way, we'll keep an eye on what's going to happen here tonight, as Overtaker is currently going to finish his lap. He will be the last one to complete a lap here, as we still F1 Billow coming into the final corner. He bounces over the chicane, into the pits he goes, and he just gorges the white line. So I think a few of these guys are going to get caught out by pit entry and pit exit, as Overtaker is the only one still left on track. But we're seeing Killer Camel in the final sector.
I need to change camera so I can see it better.
Killer Camel into the final corner he comes. F1 Billow obviously returned back to the pits, but what can Killer Camel do towards the line? No improvement. And then there's Overtaker currently finishing his session. Right, so De Silva fastest from Ripper, from Overtaker. Who is going to be the one to come out on top? PN's going overtaker. I'm reckoning Ripper, but we shall see in a few minutes' time who is going to win this one. Overtaker seems like he's on a hot lap. And he does not improve, and he goes back to the pits.
He's aborted. Right, as we go.
As there is a qualifying session, but it's completely irrelevant because nobody will complete a lap time. As Matt's gone out, strangely enough.
Yeah.
A bit of waste of tyres, I think. Bit of a waste of some tyres, but either way, he's gone out. And we'll see what he will do on his qualifying session. No one else opting to go out on track. So, reminder as well, guys, the championship is, the race 1 is based on the championship in reverse grid. So like I said, Ripper will be starting at the back of the pack with a few of the other guys mixing and changing around. No David tonight, so all the guys will move up the order ever so slightly. And we will see how we all get on tonight, as Matt is coming through the middle sector and the only one to go out on track for qualifying. Not sure why he's gone out on track, but either way he has. Just means the qualifying stint into the race takes longer. Thank you, Matt.
He might have forgot about this little qualifying session so we can get to the right cameras before the race. Because if not, you'll be locked in drive and you're stuck on one person for the whole formation lap.
Who knows? Either way, Matt has returned to the pits and we're about to get underway for the race. Can the pros actually get themselves in the correct order? That is the question, because the Pro-Am and Pro-Am seem to have a struggle getting in the correct reverse grid order. But either way, a reminder of the reverse grid order, I shall read them out. So, it'll be F1 Bill on pole position with Hitman in second. Overtaker will start third. Shane will be fourth. Fifth will be Killer Camel. Sixth is Euro. Seventh is Nexus. Eighth is Mate Himovic. Ninth is Emprava. 10th is Benno. 11th is Fury. 12th is Peaceful Explosion. 13th is Green Wolfinator. 14th is Breeze. 15th is De Silva, and Ripper starting at the back of the pack. Can these guys get themselves in the correct order? That is the question, guys. If you haven't done so, then please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss a single thing here at SimPlay Motorsport. And also, while you're at it, please go and have a look at our sponsors by Design to Manchester, Audio Sport and Sea Leech Graphics as well. Give them all a follow on all their social medias. Have a look at their websites, and if you have any interest in anything that they are doing, then please get involved. And a reminder as well, if you do want to be a part of anything here at SimPlay Motorsport, head over to the Sim Grid where you can get yourself signed up and you could be on this grid racing in the Pro-Am or the Am class. We should hopefully be having the Porsche Super Cup starting soon, but obviously that is already full. But that will be on the Sunday night.
Technically full, and so is Pro-Am as well. So
it is only Am, but anyway, you can get yourself signed up in the categories and get yourself testing, get yourself racing with these guys in practice sessions so you can see where you compare to these guys. Right, let's get this formation lap underway, shall we? So, reminder of the order. We should have F1 Bill to the front of the pack, and I believe he is. He can't zoom off into the distance. He will have to try and keep everyone under control. It should be then Hitman in second, which it is. We should then have Overtaker in third, and he is in third place position. God, these boys are good, aren't they? They are good. Shane currently is meant to be in P4, and he is. Then we should have the next Lexus of Killer Camel, who is failing to get in the correct order. So, where there was getting excited for Killer Camel, he's in the wrong order.
He's right at the back.
He should be.
Why is he dropping to the back? He shouldn't be dropping to the back.
Killer Camel should be starting fifth. That would then be Euro in sixth, and I believe Euro is in the correct spot. He is. And then it should be Nexus, who is behind Euro, and he is indeed. Then it should be Mate Himovic, and it is Mate Himovic behind Nexus. After Matt, it should be Emprava, which it is, followed by Benno then, and Benno is not even in the correct position. So Benno needs to move up the order, but he is not in his correct order at the minute.
Yeah. So, well, that's
Killer Camel and Benno need to start moving up, but in a minute we're just going to have to start dealing penalties out for people who are in the wrong order. Killer Camel is now moving up. He now needs to get ahead of Matt, Nexus and Euro. So he needs to crack on with it, or else he will get a penalty. Simple as that. We're not messing around. Same with Benno's in the correct order now. With Fury should be behind Benno. Where is Fury? He is behind him. With Mike, Peaceful Explosion right behind him, and that is correct. Then we should have Wolfinator. Breeze should be in front of De Silva and Ripper, but he's not. He's at the back of the pack. So this has gone splendidly well. Killer Camel has now got himself in the correct order, and is now...
Breeze is in the right place now. He's just
right. Took longer than it actually should have done, but they're finally in the correct order. Right, so... It is F1 Billow on pole with Hitman alongside Aston versus Bentley. It's an all-British front row with the McLaren of Overtaker just behind him. And I know what you're about to say. Bentley isn't British no more.
No, it's a VW.
Shh. Either way, it is two British manufacturers at the front row of Bentley versus Aston Martin. The McLaren just behind, and the Lexus, who is going to come out on top as we are about to get the race underway here, as they all get themselves towards the start-finish line. Race initialized. Are we ready to go here? F1 Billow, can he get a good start? As we are now green here at Barcelona for the third round of the season, and Overtaker seems to have a decent start as the Aston Martin of Hitman goes straight into defensive mode. There comes Nexus in the Audi around the outside as Hitman dives down the inside of turn one. He goes a little bit deep as Billow then gets the job done around the outside, and he keeps it together. Overtaker though is right on the back of Hitman but can't find a way through. Meanwhile, Killer Camel, oh, there's a spin there, and Prava's gone round. Fury's involved.
Bruce De Silva was in there.
Was any of the top guys involved with that? De Silva's got damage by the looks of things, but the question is, did Ripper get away with any of that as he is trying to work his way up the order? Meanwhile, Killer Camel is trying to work his way on Nexus as he goes down the inside of Shane. Where is Ripper? He is in P10. He's behind Matahimovic, so a fairly messy start for most of these guys, as we have now F1 Billow lead the way with Hitman in second place, Overtaker in third, Nexus in fourth. Sorry, Killer Camel was in fourth, but is now Nexus back in fourth. The timetable really not great here because it doesn't keep up as quickly as it can as they go through the splits. Overtaker now looking to make a move on the Aston Martin of Hitman. Hitman's gone wide, and that's allowing Overtaker down the inside to get the job done, and there's nothing Hitman can do. Overtaker through up into second. He's now going to make his way past F1 Billow, who looked like he had decent pace. Nexus down the inside of Hitman, thinks better of it and waits a little bit later on. What else is going on down the order?
I'm just checking to see if anyone's involved in that is trying to head towards pit lane and fix their damage. The Silver's car, I don't think this is too bad because he's killed the back of Benno. Peaceful's continuing, so is Wolfie, so is Anne, so as is Breeze. They're all continuing on to the pit window.
So it is F1 Billow leading the way with Overtaker in second, Hitman in third. As Killer Camel goes down the inside of Nexus, gets it all wrong. The rear steps out and he can't find his way through and has to get going again. And he's dropped down the order. He now goes behind his teammate Ripper, who's going to go right round the outside of the Lexus. In the Audi he goes. And I think he gets the job done on that one. Meanwhile, Matimovic has been passed by Benno. Benno in the other Bentley has just driven past him and he's lost out. He is down to 11th place position. Killer Camel though, fighting with his teammate down the outside as Ripper will probably get the job done now.
Obviously it's only round 3, so you won't have team orders yet, right? Red Bull, cough cough.
You would have thought so. As Fury's had a decent start to this race, even though he got caught up with the first lap incident. He's up into P7 at the minute. He's just two places behind his teammate Shane, and Shane's had a fairly quiet start to the race as well. So can the Lexus boys, the Teletubby Motorsport, work their way up the order? But meanwhile, Overtaker is now starting to work his magic onto F1 Billow. Billow, though, now under some serious pressure from the McLaren right behind him.
God, and that orange McLaren, when you see that in your mirrors, that is such a menacing sight to see Overtaker behind you. Even in the practice races we have when he's on there, it's just like, yeah, I can see you. He
is indeed right there, but you see there the Bentley makes a bit of a gain on the final sector as the Aston Martin and Hitman just losing touch of these guys. Nexus is trying to reel him in. Meanwhile, Shane looks like he's holding up Euro with second for Fury to come on the attack. Ripper is not too far behind him either. Ripper slowly working his way through the order. Killer Camel now under pressure from Benno. De Silva slowly working his way through the order as he's got Wolfinator behind him in the other McLaren. As it looks like Wolfinator looked to make to attack to the inside but goes to the outside, and De Silva hangs in there. There is a spinning Lexus. I believe that is Shane. It is. He has gone off, as has Euro, so something has happened between them, and Fury was the one who gained out of all of that, as I think Euro might have made contact with Shane, and around he goes. Sati Apex in the chat. Nice to see you in the chat, Sati. Come on, Matt, he says in the chat. He's not having the best of starts to this one. He's down in 12th place at the minute.
He must have ran wide somewhere on end of the last lap, probably up the chicane, and because he lost positions to Peaceful and Wolfie and De Silva. De Silva's up to 9th, considering.
Yeah, considering he has got damage. Meanwhile, Overtaker is only 3/10 behind F1 Billow. It seems like the Bentley has the grunt down the straight, but in these tight, twisty sections, he seems to lose out ever so slightly to Overtaker. Hitman's got his own problems with Nexus behind him. Meanwhile, Ripper is looking to the outside of Fury, and Ripper now has to think better of that. So we've got, seems to be a 2x2x2 fight here at the minute between cars. We've got Billow and Overtaker, Hitman and Nexus, Ripper and Fury, and just behind them is Killer Camel and Benno as well. De Silva has let Wolfinator through, and I think as soon as the pit window opens, we will see De Silva into the pits, as Peaceful Explosion also right on the back of De Silva.
Yeah, Billow through the chicane pulled out the second lead over Overtaker. So the Bentley's got a fair bit of traction and a lot of grunt.
I think a lot of it is the grunt, as Hitman's holding his own over Nexus at the minute in P4. Meanwhile, Fury has got his hands full with the very fast Audi of Ripper now, as Ripper's coming onto the back of Fury. He's looking to make the move possibly in turn 4, but he's not quite close enough at the minute. But we'll see what he can do as they head into turn 4. Fury's rear end just stepping out ever so slightly there, as now Killer Camel is slowly creeping back onto these two, as you can see there, Fury's got slight damage to the front end of his car.
Yeah, I'm just watching Peaceful Explosion fighting De Silva a bit further back in the pack. It was a brief moment of time down the straight. Peaceful was in front of De Silva. So the Honda's got some pace.
But has that McLaren got significant damage that's holding him back? That's the question.
As Empalava had a little look on Matt into the whatever. Matt's got a very loose rear end coming onto the back straight. Very loose rear end. Oh, yeah. Billow's made a mistake in the chicane. Overtaker's beside him.
Oh, not quite close enough though. We go back on board when we're just seeing Matt losing places left, right and centre. As we see here, Overtaker is right on the rear wing of F1 Billow. Billow's got one choice and one choice only. He has to try and defend that inside. But look, the Bentley's got enough grunt to just stay in front of the McLaren. Even though Overtaker's right there, he's going to be later on the brakes. They're going to try and go side by side into turn 1. Overtaker can't find a way through. He tries to get the cutback, but Billow holds in there. He holds strong, and he stays in front for now, as Overtaker will have to sit and look at the back of that Bentley even longer now, as the Bentley goes wide there, but Overtaker can't find a way through, and Billow holds on for a little bit longer. Meanwhile, Matt has dropped right to the back of the pack, and I'm not sure why. He's pretty much coming to a stop.
He's got heavy damage as well, looking up at his rear end of his car. His rear bumper's hanging about, and I think he lost it, but not sure because I was watching another battle as Ripper got past Fury down the straight.
He has indeed. We go back to the leaders, overtaking to the outside of the right-hander. He's going to try and get the cut back underneath Billow, but he can't do so. That Bentley is huge. It's massive. It's very difficult to find a way through, as Billow is just doing everything he needs to do. He's just putting his car in all the right places. This is allowing Hitman to just start to slowly creep back onto these two again.
It is indeed, and might be working with Nexus because they're both JWB teammates, but one's in Team 1, one's in Team 2.
Benno's under, putting an attack on Killer Camel. Killer Camel makes contact with Benno, and Benno goes around the outside and makes the position. Wolfinator not a million miles away, but we go back to the leaders, and I think Billow has actually made a gap now to Overtaker. He's now 3/10, possibly a bit more than that. It is now, he's 8/10 ahead of the McLaren, so a good start there for Billow, and he's pulling away.
As Peaceful still on the back of De Silva. Coming into the final turn.
De Silva has got to be praying and hoping that pit window opens very soon, because right now he's got a swarm of cars behind him, two Hondas and a McLaren, and right now he's having to defend.
He is having to defend that, and Peaceful's. Oh, that was quite close on, because I'm watching on Chase Cam, because check.
Oh, yeah.
And that was really, really close.
Where is Matt? He's in the final sector now. He seems to be struggling with the rear end of his car. Meanwhile, Overtaker really not making any edgeways at the minute. He's just having to stick behind Billow at the minute, possibly try and get him in the pits, because right now he doesn't seem to have the overall pace to get past him. Meanwhile, Breeze has passed De Silva, and now it's Emprava's turn to get past De Silva. So two of the guys who were fighting for the championship last season are at the back of the pack. Matt and De Silva having a shocking start to this race, as the pit window is now open, and I'm pretty sure we will be seeing De Silva and Matt both coming into the pits as Emprava and De Silva go together.
We might get a
Overtaker's had a moment.
Yeah, he has indeed.
He's had
the Ripper's now beside him.
Ripper has now worked his way to in front of Overtaker, and that's a big win there for Ripper. That's probably one of the guys that was going to hold him up, and he's cleared Overtaker without too much stress as they now come towards the pit lane. Billow stays out. Hitman stays out. So does Nexus. Ripper, Overtaker and Fury all stay out. Benno staying out. Killer Camel is coming in, and he nails the pit entry. Wolfinator staying out. Peaceful Explosion is under some massive pressure from Breeze into the final chicane. They come, try and keep it smooth and consistent. They're both into the pits, and they get the job done, as does Emprava. De Silva straight into the pits also. Euro now towards the back of the pack as he stays out. Shane into the final chicane, and I think Shane will stay out as well. Yes, he will, and it's now Matt bringing up the rear, and I think Matt will be into the pits momentarily. But meanwhile, the big news is Overtaker has been passed by Ripper, and Ripper is on the move. What did I say, PN? Ripper from last to first?
It's not over yet. We've still got 18 minutes.
We do indeed, and at the minute he is sitting in a very solid P4. He's now just got to clear Nexus, Hitman and Billow. In this situation, would you rather pit now? Obviously, with the couple of cars that you will have to overtake, you got to get some clean air, really, at this stage.
Indeed. Well, we all know I'm a fan of the early stop, so...
Matt's into the pit, so he must have damage as well. A major damage to his car, very similar to the rest of the guys.
His stop's 46 seconds.
He's going to be in there for a while then. Meanwhile, F1 Billow is coming down the back straight, as down the main straight comes Killer Camel. He completes his pit stop. Will he touch the white line? No, he doesn't.
I'm watching. Breeze is next away.
Breeze is now out of the pits. Will Billow, Hitman, as Nexus comes into the pits, Ripper, all the others just funneling their way through as Benno comes in and he cuts the white line. Benno cuts pit entry. As now comes Green Wolfinator. He stays out as the rest of the guys worm their way through. Now, Peaceful is out the pits. All these guys are in a situation now. They're a lap down now, pretty much, to the leaders. Now, they have to obey blue flags. So far for most of them, they haven't got a fast car behind them. The only one that possibly might have to get out of the way, I think it's Peaceful Explosion. He has got Hitman right behind him, so Peaceful Explosion will have to obey to the blue flag rule and get out of the way. But either way, it all depends on when people pit. Ripper and Overtaker stayed out, and Ripper is just pulling away from Overtaker. Overtaker just seems to have no pace compared to the Audi right now, as Ripper is working his way onto the back of Hitman.
Yeah, well, it'd be nice if... Well, you think if a McLaren wins, it'd be even more... It'd be more Audis next season. If a McLaren doesn't win. Even though I think we need to limit how many people... Oh, I've been booted from the session, so... I will be back momentarily, and I cannot keep an eye on any cameras.
Well, at the minute, the guys are sat in the pits. We go to F1 Billo, who's into the final sector. Is he choosing to pit? Yes, he is. He just clips that white line, I think, as Hitman now exits the final corner. As he goes through, Ripper nails the pit entry as Overtaker now goes and carries on. Fury carries on as well, as Wolfinator, I think, also is probably planning to stay out. Yes, he is. So all those guys through the sections they go, as Shane now comes back out on track. Will he obey to the track limits? Yes, he will. So F1 Billo has chose to come into the pits, as does Ripper. So these two are going to be an interesting position to see where they come out, and we will see how things will fall into place, as Hitman is leading away with Overtaker in second, with Fury now up into third place position.
I'm back in the session.
Sweet. I'm trying to see if there's any other fights going on. Yes, there is. Euro coming out of the pits. He's got Peaceful Explosion right behind him. We are halfway through this race right now. And into the chicane they go. Euro getting right out of the way. Oh, it's because his Hitman is the race leader, so he moves straight out of the way. I was confused then.
He's obeying the blue flag rules, which is what you're meant to do.
He is indeed.
As Billow's away, as is the Ripper. The Ripper gained a lot of time. Oh, I think Billow may cut across the line, but because I'm on external cams again, I can't actually see if he did.
So we've only got 4 cars yet to pit, and I think Hitman was held up by Peaceful ever so slightly there, and he is now struggling to get himself through this pack. And is he going to pit? Yes, he is. He comes into the pits and just gets it stopped in that small window, as Fury now comes to the pits. Nope, he stays out and carries on for one more lap. And then we've got Wolfinator into the final sector now. And he continues on also.
Overtaker also continued on and carried on. Now I'm back in the session, which is probably handy because I hate being in chase cam. I don't know how anybody plays a racing game in chase cam. This is Burnout Paradise.
Gary131 does, I believe. I don't know how. I really don't. Either way, we have Hitman, who's come into the pits, and we'll see how much he's going to lose. I think he's going to lose out to Ripper, because Ripper has really creeped onto the back of Billo. Billo has had one big threat of Overtaker already. Now he's got another massive threat of your championship leader, Ripper, ripping up the track right now and working his way slowly through this pack. But he has done so in a smooth, calm manner. He's, oh, I say calm, he's just had a twitch in the final corner, as now Hitman has gone green, but he's quite...
He pulled away and then stopped and then pulled away again, because I was watching his stop. That seemed a bit odd.
Maybe sometimes when I've obviously come out of the pits, you've ended up selected a gear. You actually selected a gear, then ended up hitting neutral by accident.
Shane with track limits penalty.
Oh, Shane, drive-through penalty, track limits. So that's going to hurt him big time. It's Overtaker now into the final chicane. He now comes into the pits. Oh, just gets himself in. As now Fury comes in, but also Shane
was in his way.
Might have helped him out actually, because it is a tricky pit entry. As now Shane serves his drive-through straight away. Now Wolfinator has come into the pits and obeys to the pit lane entry. Right.
Shane doing the correct thing there. Serve your drive-through straight away.
Yeah, get it over and done with as quickly as you possibly can. Right, so after the pit stops, we will see Overtaker, Wolfinator and Fury all get their stops done and dusted. Right, Billow leads the way with Ripper in 5th place as 30 seconds stop and go now for Shane. Why is that? Was he speeding in the pit lane? Possibly so.
He must have been speeding, yeah.
He's going to be cursing this game right now, I'll tell you that for sure.
I think he's going to be cursing being promoted into pro.
Yeah, definitely so. Ripper now is right onto the back of Billow once again. Overtaker's gone green. This is going to be very, very close. He's going to be off the limiter pretty quickly. F1 Billow has gone past, I think. No, not quite. Overtaker is there. F1 Billow's going to take the lead. Ripper is going to be very, very close as they head into turn 1. Overtaker has jumped Ripper, but obviously Overtaker with cold tyres right now, he's going to be struggling, and Ripper is going to be all over the back of that McLaren.
As Fury exits the pits, as does Wolfie.
He does indeed. Where did Fury pop out? He's quite a bit away. Meanwhile, Nexus and Benno were going at it. They were changing positions, but it is Benno who's still behind Nexus at the minute. But more importantly, Overtaker has jumped Ripper. And just as we thought, as this race was about to look like it was going to be Rippers to try and attack the leaders, F1 Billow is holding it strong out the front at the minute and still keeping these two very fast drivers behind them.
Overtaker's McLaren's now going to be wider than it was before, trying to hold back Ripper.
It is indeed, as now we see Ripper going to try everything he can as the pit window has now closed to find a way past on Overtaker. But meanwhile, Billow can sit there and be calm as you like, because he has got these two behind him, as 30 seconds still got for Shane to come into the pits.
55 laps remainder, that said on there for the penalty. I think it might be a glitch, or could it there's a certain point in the race to serve it.
What's to be said? Meanwhile, Matt and Shane are having a little scrap right now, even though Shane has to come in and serve a stop and go. Right, Ripper back on board with him. Down towards turn 1 we go, and Overtaker having to weave around a little bit just to break the toe as we head into turn 1. Meanwhile, Billow is just extending his gap between these two.
He has to push like crazy and get away right now. As I'm watching Nexus and Benno the corner cutter fight, and they go left and right or down the back straight, trying to. That might be going into for weaving, not gonna lie, but we'll find out. Well, I'll find out, I should say.
Well, Benno looking to try and make a move on Nexus, your 2.4 hour winner at Spa, and he has got a big job keeping that Bentley behind. It seems to be Audi versus Bentley tonight, and the Bentley of Benno looking to the inside. Can he think anything of it? He's going to try it. Nexus and Benno come side by side, and I think Nexus there really didn't leave the door open enough for Benno there, and Benno goes around. I think what's really showing here tonight is that the new boys have got pace. As F1 Billow runs a little bit wide there. That's going to give him a line that's going to really compromise into the hairpin. And Overtaker's there. Billow's gone wide. Overtaker looks to the inside but can't quite get enough of an overlap as he's going to go around the outside. Here comes Ripper. There's a three-way fight for the lead, and Billow, with that one little mistake running wide, is now under pressure from the McLaren and the Audi. Billow really trying his absolute best here to keep the McLaren behind him, but we know how good a traction that Bentley has as they go towards the chicane. Audi, McLaren, over, they all just, the Bentley just clobbers the curb like it's nothing, and there's the gap that he's made. It's not a lot, but it should be enough. The Bentley's got the grunt. Meanwhile, Ripper is right behind them.
Meanwhile, Camel's only less than a second behind Fury for 7th place.
We'll come to them in a minute, but we'll keep an eye on this fight because it is really spicing up for the race lead. 7.5 minutes left to go. Billow's gone wide into turn 1. Has he got pressure issues with his tyres? Because he is under so much pressure from Overtaker right now. But right now, the Audi of Ripper is just sitting, waiting like a shark, waiting to attack on his prey. But Overtaker needs to get this job done, or else he's going to get swamped up by Ripper. Billow's gone wide. He's made a mistake. That's going to allow Overtaker down the inside. But he's going to be on the outside for then turn 5. As the stop and go has been cleared by Shane. Billow loses the race lead to Overtaker. Ripper now is on the attack, and he's looking to the inside of Billow. Billow makes another mistake, and here comes Ripper down the inside of the left-hander. He gets the job done, and Billow, just like that, in a couple of corners, gets swamped up by the McLaren and the Audi, and back to 3rd place he goes.
Tell you what, he's not having a bad race, considering it's only his 2nd one here at SimPlay.
No, definitely not. He's having a decent race for sure. But either way, he has lost out to these two boys. But to be honest, these two are pretty quick on this game. As Overtaken now, can he extend the gap over Ripper? That is the question. As we now watch F1 Billow try and do anything about the top 2. I don't think he can. I think he possibly had pressure issues, but we will come back to him momentarily as Nexus is now back on the back end of Benno, while Killer Camel, it's a fight for the Lexus party here. It's Fury versus Killer Camel, and at the minute Killer Camel trying everything he can to find a way past on Fury, as Nexus is right on the rear wing of the Bentley, but there's not really much he can do about that.
Benno's just had to drive away, and that's one move, Benno. What, just watching, that was one move over to the right, and now he's sitting in the middle. It'd be interesting. That's the racing line he's moved over now, so which you are allowed to do. As it looked like Fury's Lexus has a little bit more top end than Camel's, as Camel's very wide into turn 1, over the rumble strips. You don't want to do that, because you might go to the moon.
That's Killer Camel there, just struggling to stick to the back end of Fury. Meanwhile, the leaders have always separated ever so slightly, so it's a 1.1 second gap between Overtaker and Ripper. Meanwhile, Billow is in 3rd, and he's now lost out to a 2nd to Ripper. So Billow, although he did a fantastic job of holding on to this race lead, he has lost out to these two, as they are now starting to pull away. Nexus, can he do anything about Hitman? Meanwhile, sorry, Benno. Hitman, on the other hand, is the man I was about to talk about. He's had quite a quiet race to himself, hasn't he? He's just mind his own business, kept his nose clean, and worked his way through.
Yeah, I was just sort of like, it was Discord just pinged something for the admin team. I'll look at it later. Yeah, I'm completely lost.
So, as the running order towards the end of this race, it's Overtaker who leads the way, Ripper in 2nd, but he's actually starting to lose time to Billow. Billow in 3rd, Hitman in 4th. He's not a million miles away from these guys ahead, but he's managed to stick with them. Benno in P5, he's still got a Nexus breathing down his neck in P6. Fury in P7, and again, he's still got Killer Camel really giving him the hump. And in 9th place is Wolfinator. He's had a bit of a so-so race here tonight, as Breeze in P10. Peaceful Explosion, mind his own business, in P11 with Euro in P12. De Silva has been the shark tonight. Obviously major damage to the front end of his car. He looked very, very fast and had good pace earlier on in practice, but he obviously has lost out here in 13th. And Plava in 14th. Matahimovic, what can we say, is had a dreadful start to the night. He is in 15th place position, and with Shane in 16th. But we go back to the leaders, and it is what's happened to Overtaker?
Overtaker's made a mistake, and so the Ripper was now leading. I don't know where Overtaker made a mistake, because I was checking through the back runners.
Wow. So
has
Ripper,
he overcooked it?
Has he just pushed a little bit too much?
He has got damage. If there is damage on his car, so.
So Overtaker just pushing it a little bit too hard. What has he hit? Has he gone a little bit too deep into a corner? What has happened? We just don't know. I would do a replay, but it will crash my game. So Overtaker now dropping behind Ripper. At the minute, I think it's 3-1 to me, while PN is slowly falling behind. And at the minute, it looks like it's going to be 4-1.
Dilly gaff. That's all I'm going to say on that. Dilly gaff.
I've got to say though, for me though, Billo has been the surprise for me tonight. He's been fantastic all night for this race. He's really held his own against Overtaker and Ripper, as these two have really been putting the pressure on him. Killer Camel is still trying to find a way on Fury. That's your closest fight at the minute, or was 9/10 separating them. But I don't think much is going to happen with it because Killer Camel is not quite close enough. The question is, can Overtaker make an attack on Billo towards the end? This now looks a little bit closer.
It is much closer, as Billo lost a second and one sector to Ripper. So is Billo struggling with tyres, maybe? Shouldn't do. We've meant to last an hour, these tyres.
He might have ballooned them.
Oh, I was ballooning mine. I had to really put low pressures.
Oh, Overtaker!
With elbows out there, just a little bit, to get back into second.
Yeah, elbows out, trying to push his way through, and he gets the job done. But can he keep it clean towards the end? He's already made one mistake by the list of things. And I think Billo, like I said, I think he's just struggling with tyre pressures. It's got to be the only thing. You know, he might have just ballooned them in the second phase. You know, the second set of tyres after the pit stop, they might not have got his pressures right, so he might just be struggling with ballooning. Because Hitman is actually gaining on these two ever so slowly.
He is indeed, as Matt is not... Who's that in front of Matt? Matt's been lapped.
He has been lapped. Ripper is now into the final corner to start his final lap here. Matt, meanwhile, let's talk about Matt, because I've just seen in the weekly roundup, Matt, weekly roundup, in race 2 will be his 150th race appearance. And he needs 2 more podiums for his 100th, and I don't think he's going to get it on this one. But either way, at the minute, he moves to one side and allows the leaders through, but it is this man leading the way, Ripper, with a gap of 4.1 ahead of Overtaker. Billo, solid round in P3, Hitman in P4, Benno P5, Nexus P6, Fury in P7. Benno's got damage, I think, to the front end of his Bentley.
It's a emphasised for Bentley.
Probably.
He's bent it. Camel just cannot seem to find a way past Fury.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the best he's going to get, because he's lost out big time to Fury now. But either way, it's been a fantastic race. The top 3 have definitely put on a fantastic show for us. But here comes Ripper once again to take a win. He looked very, very good at Spa, and he looks even better here at Catalunya. Worked his way slowly through the order. He's at a P4, a P5 in the wet conditions at the first round of the season, and coming into Spa, he then got 2 wins, and he's obviously starting the night off really well from last on the grid all the way up to the front of the grid. Thanks to Ripper, I now get 4-1 over PN, and into the final chicane he comes for round 5 of the season. It's once again for his 3rd win here at SimPlay Motorsport. Ripper comes home to take the win here at round 3 of Catalunya. Great drive from him. Overtaker is going to come home in 2nd place with F1 Billo with a fantastic drive. He just hangs in there for P3 ahead of Hitman in P4. P5 is going to go the way of Benno as well. A decent drive from him. Nexus is going to come home in 6th place position. Matt is going to come across the line in P15, and he's got Fury coming through with a Green Wolfinator. He did get Camel just at the end, with Breeze coming home in 10th place position. Well, Peaceful Explosion, the number 11 car, is going to finish in 11th place. Peaceful Explosion will cross the line in the Honda to take 11th place position. The Ferrari of Euro will finish in 12th. Your reigning champion, De Silva, finishes in 13th, with Emprava coming home for 14th and Shane in 16th.
We just lost a driver before we could get the results, which is not very helpful, guys.
But it is this man who is your race 5 winner. It is Ripper who wins this round. Congratulations to him, from last to first. As I believe now we will go into a short practice session, and we will have a chance for the commentators just to have a breath, because that was a great race, an exciting race at that as well. The top three really giving us a good show, as well as Ripper is your race one winner, with Overtaker in second, and third and completing your podium is F1 Billow. We'll be back in a few moments time, as keep yourself locked in here at SimPlay Motorsport, as we'll be back for race 2. Normal qualifying session will resume.
Getting hype when I aim up, elevating that game up, stepping up to the competition. Only first place, and that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. Watch me elevate. All in when I show up, whole place about to blow up. Superior to that competition. I'm in first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. Watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate.
hands laid on the carpet. Eye to eye, glistening. No, I saw it. I saw it. You're golden, golden. Honestly, you know it. Me under the street light at the young, so I could show you. You're golden, golden. Honestly, you're glowing. Me under the mezzanine, just so that I could show you. You're golden. Hey, you're golden.
Back to SimPlay Motorsport. Oh, no, I've got to unmute myself. Welcome back to SimPlay Motorsport, and we are back ready for race 2 of the night. But first things first, we are going to get qualifying underway as we got all the cars coming back out on track. Peaceful Explosion is the first one out on track. And right now we'll give you a quick rundown of the championship standings after round 5. Reminder as well, these are the unofficial results because obviously we'll have penalties and stewards' decisions to come into account as well. But it's Ripper who extends his championship lead over De Silva, 21 points now ahead of De Silva. P3 is Wolfinator with Breeze in P4. 5th is Peaceful Explosion with Benno in 6th place position. Fury sitting in 7th with Nexus in 8th. Emprava is sitting in 9th place position with T in 10th place. Matinovic sitting in 11th with Gary 131 in 12th. Killer Camel in 13th. Overtaker moves himself up to 14th with Euro in 15th place. Hitman in 16th. David in 17th. Shane in 18th. F1 Billow in 19th, and still yet to score some points is a big boy Brazier. Regarding the teams, Killer Performance Motorsport extends their championship lead over JWB Esports Racing with SimPlay Racing in P3. JWB Esports Racing is in P4. The Team 2 is in 2nd place. Jaeger Motorsport sitting in 5th with Teletubby Motorsport 2 points behind them in 6th with Button Bashers in 7th. And again, McLaren extend their championship lead, but obviously Audi scoring some decent points there. They're getting themselves further up the order as well. But regarding the championships, that is how it is looking at the minute. Hi guys, who won race 1? It was Ripper who won the first race. And we are now getting underway for qualifying for race 2. Obviously starting from the back of the pack, Ripper had worked his way through the order. And what a drive from Ripper, let's say, PN, because it just looked like he was in control. There was no drama, there was no nothing. He just took his time and just worked his way through the pack.
He did, and Overtaker did make a couple of mistakes.
I think for these boys to beat Ripper, they really do have to be as squeaky clean as they possibly can, because they're not gonna. He's not gonna let them get away with this, really, are they? It's not going to be like that season where you had myself, Matinovic, and De Silva all going for the championship, including Overtaker, sorry, as well. All 4 of us going for the championship. But already, Ripper's really has shown what he's capable of. Only 2 winners this season. We've only had De Silva and Ripper who've won so far. We have,
and. Reminder to chat that Shane and Billow both are on qualifying bans. Shane's one was from last week, which he forgot to do because he never checked Discord. So they're currently sitting in the pits. That's why they're not out on track. And it's also now Matt's 150th race at SimPlay.
Excuse me, it is indeed the man who has been running this league from day one, Matinovic. Excuse me.
Really suffers from hay fever.
Hay fever is really, yeah. Hay fever is really kicking me in the teeth. Excuse me. The man who started it all here, Matinovic, is on his 150th appearance here. Can he get a podium? That'll make him 1 away from his 100th podium. And yeah. Oh, my nose, man. As Peaceful sets the pace with Euro in 2nd, as Ripper already goes and smashes out with a 44.9. As we go on to Wolfinator, who's in the final sector. Matinovic, though, he goes faster than Ripper now. As Wolfinator comes to the line, Breeze goes P4. Here comes Wolfinator. He goes P6, with Emprava going into P5. We've got a couple more cars coming in the final corner. Hitman coming towards the line. He will go P6, and Fury goes P5. Meanwhile, Overtaker goes fastest of them all. Killer Camel still yet to set a lap time, as is Benno, and De Silva is now in the final sector. But once again, Overtaker top of the session and at the front once again.
It is, and we've just lost Billow from the session. Hopefully he can get back in time for the race.
Well, so he's got another qualifying ban heading his way.
Well, unless it was a disconnect. I mean, he can prove it was a disconnect, like his internet went down, which is highly possible. But we'll never know until it goes in. Camel is Camel on a clean lap? Camel is on a clean lap.
As
Yep,
F1
Billo's got
Billo is back in. Yep. A reminder to Billo, if he is listening into the stream, he has to stay in the pits. And thank you to everybody who has just said bless you, because thanks, Benno.
Yep.
Not Benno, Nexus, that's the one.
Nexus, why did you do that when you're still driving the car? That's pretty impressive, Nexus. Oh, you've only just come out for pits, that's why.
And that is why. Peaceful Explosion, currently P4, comes towards the line, no improvement. Ripper, he's into the final corner. Euro goes up to P7. Here comes Ripper, any
Billow's
improvement?
again.
Ripper goes P2, so Billow's having problems here at the minute as Matt has had a spin and he's in turn 1. Overtaker is in the pits. Killer Camel goes P5. Fury now into the final sector.
I just looked over to my left where I've got Matt's stream up and Overtaker hit him.
Oh, he's not going to be happy about that. M. Barber goes P6. Fury towards the line, P7 at the minute. Does he improve? No, he stays P7. There's a car in the final sector. That looks like a number 1. It is the number 1 of the Silver. His first flying lap. Can he get himself near the front of the grid as he comes into the final corner now? What can the Silver do on this lap? Is it going to be good enough for the front row? Towards the line he comes. And he goes P2.
Yes. As Benny and Benno haven't set a lap yet. This could be very confusing by the end of the season.
Well, Benny is into the final corner, and I don't think he's going to set a lap time now anyway.
I think he's now starting his flyer, so that's all good.
He will now start his flying lap as we now look to Peaceful Explosion, the first car to start qualifying, and he comes into the final chicane now. And what lap time is he going to produce here? Into the final corner he goes. What lap time can the number 11 car do as he comes towards the line in the Honda? He's currently P5 and he stays at P5 as Euro now in the final corner in the Ferrari. He goes up to 10th place position. Then it's Ripper who goes into a 44.0. What a lap time there from Ripper as we've got Matt really attacking the back end of his car. There's a lot of cars in the middle sector, final sector, sorry, and I can't quite figure out who they all are. One of them is Wolfinator. He goes P7 and Plava stays P8. I think Fury was on a lap. No, he wasn't. He's slowly coming around the final corner as Hitman goes P9. And Fury has invalidated his lap time. Meanwhile, De Silva's in the final sector.
Wait, right. Seems off. Nexus is in the final sector at the hairpin, and he's still on a flying lap.
Nope, it's invalidated now.
He's now invalidated. Whoops.
De Silva towards the line. He's still half a second off of Ripper's best. So can De Silva get the lap time together? We go back to Peaceful Explosion again, who's in the middle sector. And I think a lot of these guys, obviously, even though you nailed the qualifying lap, it's all about race pace here. I think a lot of it is just being consistent and being able to stick to a lap time that's very similar. Although you can do these 44.0s or these 44.8s or these whatever, if you're not able to do it consistently, it's a waste of time, really. You kind of want to get into a low 45s in race pace into the high 44s. And you can see who's the qualifiers here. As some of these guys are struggling to get their race pace under control, and I think a lot of it is also due to the start of the first race. A lot of cars together in the middle, in the final sector, as Peaceful Explosion has a bit of empty track to himself, and he finds a 10th on his own. Not quite probably what he would have wanted, but either way, he comes to the line to start another lap.
It helps. The 10th here, 10th fair, as I don't know what Matt was doing in the final chicane. I'll let Benno the corner cutter through, or Benno Kruger.
So it's M. Plava towards the line. Any improvement? No. Wolfinator. Any improvement? No. So we now look to Hitman, who is currently in P10. He crosses the line. No improvement. So all these guys trying to find little bits here and there. Killer Camel is in the pits. Peaceful is in the pits. All these guys trying to get some fuel back on board, and away they go. Benno goes to P8 after finally getting a lap time on the board. I've had to move so I can see what numbers are coming up on the bottom right hand side, so I can see what car is on a lap. And at the minute, De Silva is on an invalid lap, as is this man Nexus, who is sitting in 14th. Billo, I don't think he's going to get back in because he suddenly just disappeared.
Yes, suddenly disappeared. I don't know who said anything in Discord because I've had to put my phone on charge. I've had to have electricity in my phone.
As Nexus exits the final corner, so he can finally start a valid lap. Can he get this one on the board? That is the question. There's a lot of cars queued up behind one another. Emplava is behind. I think it's Breeze that's in front of him. Yes, it is. And Wolfinator as well. So they are behind Peaceful Explosion. No, it's Emplava is in front of these lot. So all these guys are on a lap. He has indeed.
So it looked like we lost Billo. That could be connection issues, so that isn't really a retirement because he did try to get back in.
Now, or it could be other reasons as well, we just don't know. But meanwhile, Emprava really deep into the chicane there, really missing the apex by quite a mile. He comes towards the line, and any improvement on P7 1.1, he's only half a tenth behind his teammate, and he has no improvement there. Hitman once again in the final sector. Is Benno on a better lap? No. Hitman, is he on a better lap? No. No one improving at the minute. The number 14 of Overtaker, 2 tenths behind the leader, and no improvement. He will stay P2. We have a car that is the 75. That is Euro into the final corner in the Ferrari. What can he do? Any improvement? No, he stays at 13th, slowest of them all at the minute, with Nexus still yet to set a lap time, but he's on a green lap. He's on one. He's validated. Come on, Ben. Keep it in track limits. Do not run wide. I'll tell him that now, and he'll go wide in the final corner. Just you wait.
Yeah, because you're giving him the commentator's curse.
Yeah.
It's real, chat. It is real.
And into the final corner he goes. Nexus, is this a valid lap? Yes, it is. Towards the line. What is it going to be? It's P8. So he goes up into P8 position. De Silva is on a flyer. He's got a car behind him. Who is behind him? That is the number 13. That is Fury, who's drifting into the final chicane.
Fury, you don't want to be doing that.
I mean, it'll get tire temperature.
One way to get tire temperature, but
Ripper and De Silva once again separated by only 6 tenths, 69 thousandths of a second between them. God, these two are on fire right now.
Trying to get back into the session. He's back on the list as 69. Nice. That's a nice gap. But after race 1, De Silva really needs a result to keep into this championship.
He does indeed. Breeze exits the final corner. Does he improve? No improvement from him. Then it's the 14 of Overtaker on a valid lap. Then it will be Hitman. But Overtaker towards the line. Can he get himself into the lower 2 tenths? No, he cannot. So he has to go again. Hitman, any improvement? No. As all these guys just struggling to find those few tenths or hundredths of a second to get themselves ahead. Matahimovic now in P4 in the Bentley. What can he do? He's on a green lap at the minute. The car of 33 of Killer Camel not on a lap, so he will have to try and hold on to this next lap as he will start his final lap here. Matt on a green lap, 8 tenths off of the guys in front, and has quite a gap between these guys at the minute. Matt, any improvement? He gets within 4 tenths, but he's still a little bit off the pace of the leaders. Peaceful Explosion out to the line. Any improvement? He finds some time. It goes ahead of Matt. He's within 3 tenths of Ripper. So all these guys finding the time. It is now De Silva once again into the final sector. He goes. Can he find that magical 10th that he needs to take pole position? He does! He goes up into pole position. Ripper has now got his work cut out. De Silva on pole.
There's a car off in front of Ripper. Off track though.
That's
luckily.
at 98. I think that's Benno. He's off track and he's got back to the pits. Overtaker now. I think this will end his qualifying session. So, Overtaker P3 at the minute. Can he find any more time? Can he get within that magical 3/10 that he needs to take pole position through the chicane? He goes. Hitman's done. Overtaker to the final quarter now. He is done for qualifying. This is it. Overtaker. Can he get himself on pole position? No, he stays P3.26. Who is that? That's Ripper. And he goes pole position. A 43.8 bang. Ripper takes pole position away from De Silva. Just as you think De Silva is on pole position, he steals it away. Ripper does. Brilliant stuff from him. We've only got 3 cars left on a lap. Killer Camel into the final corner. He comes. P6 at the minute towards the line. Any improvement? No, he will stay P6. We've now got Nexus. He's done another green lap. Don't get too confident there. Nexus, he's done 2 consistent green laps here. Towards the line he comes. 1.5 behind the leaders. Any improvement? He finds 2/10, but it's not enough to move him a position. It is now Fury, CBK, the last man to set a lap time. Number 13 in the Lexus. Can he get a smooth run through the chicane? It looks fairly smooth. It looks clean. It looks good. Fury currently P12 at the minute. 2.1 behind as he comes towards line. Billow tries to get back in the session again. Fury, any improvement? He goes P9 on that one. So Fury goes up to P9 as F1 Billow, I think, has got himself back into this session. I think just in time for the race. But it is...
remember to return to garage beforehand. So don't be stuck on one driver for the warm-up lap.
But once again, Ripper and De Silva taking blows there, and Ripper comes out on top as I can't quite select Billow at the moment, and he's not in the session. Oh, no, I've hit drive now, so that's good, isn't it?
Well done, Dan.
I was trying to select Billow, and it decided to hit drive, so great stuff there. Thanks, ACC. A load of rubbish this is.
The camera was great, because you've got the gantry going across, and you could barely see the cars.
Yep, I'm currently looking at Euro right now. Some great qualifying runs there. Yeah, definitely, indeed, their micro J's.
Micro J's.
Very much so. Some decent lap times at 43. Didn't think we were going to see that tonight.
That must have literally a thimble of fuel in the car to get that lap time.
Yeah, definitely. So he's probably...
Throw
that was a good lap,
stereo, throw out the radio, throw everything out you don't need.
If it's not the engine, get rid of it.
Modifying cars. These kids have it all wrong, don't they, with their sound systems? Now, don't make the car go faster. You're slowing it down.
Don't know what you're talking about. My my Alpine sounds great.
I listen to music at home.
As at the minute, I'm currently watching a bit of FRL. Obviously, a lot of people will know that SimPlay Racing do a lot of endurance racing on Formula Racing League. Sadly, we did have SimPlay racing at the 12 Hours of Bathurst. Myself and James racing, and yeah, let's just say James's wheel decided to cut out, and sadly we had to retire. So the best we could do for that one was not great. We were 4.5 hours to the end, and yeah. That's what happened to us, but I'm currently watching James at the minute, his first ever racing event on PC, and he's done well. He's got 16th place, I think, on that one, so congratulations to James on that one. But we focus on the action here tonight. It is Ripper on pole position, De Silva in second, and Overtaker will be in third. Who is your money on for race 2? That is the question. Let's get a poll out, shall we? And while I'm doing the poll, we'll come to PN. PN, winner for Ripper. Race 2. You're going Ripper.
Ripper. Dudley Ripper.
Right, you're going for Ripper. I will go for De Silva.
Oh, this is literally where we went for Spa Race 2.
Yep, and you won on that one.
Well, it looked like Billow's got into a session because it's saying he's now in the pits as we say hi to DJ Phil and Peaceful Stepdad. I don't know if we said hi to him earlier.
I did not. Hello, Peaceful Stepdad. Nice to see you in the chat.
No, we've lost someone else now. Not Billow. Who have we lost? Overtaker, Peaceful, Matt, Camel, Palava, Benny, Fury, Benno, Hitman, Breach, Euro, Shane. I'm trying to figure out who we lost then, chat. But we're down to 15 cars again.
Should be 16.
It should have been 16, yeah.
What, including Billow?
Including Billow was 16.
Well, Billow at the minute is currently under his 17th, so... I think let's not register him into the session yet. I think that's the problem.
I'll just... As I check quickly.
So there, it's a poll out for you guys. Get yourselves voting on who you think is going to take the win for this one. Overtaker, Ripper, De Silva, and I put Peaceful in there. Why not? I thought I'd go for the top 4. I think Peaceful's in 4th. I can't remember.
He is.
He is. Oh, he just got Matt. A lot of these guys thinking Matt for this one. DJ Phil thinks it's going to be Matt. So does Hype Tech. He thinks it's going to be Matthew as well. Peaceful Step says hi. Hello, everybody. Let's have a good one, guys. Good luck to everybody at Pro Am, says Hype Tech.
And we lost Billow again. We're down to 14 cars.
No, 15.
No, 14. We've lost someone else. Unless it's glitching for me and I can't see someone.
I think it's glitching for everyone, but either way, it says Fury's finished, so I don't think it's that. I think, yeah, so I think we're just a little bit glitched out here because of the formation app. But either way, it is Ripper on pole position. I want to get back into the commentary box. And we are green here, and back to the commentary box we will go. And it looks like everybody's getting a fairly decent start. There's cars left, right, and centre. Matt's in the middle of all of it. As you can see, there's a bunch of cars coming down towards turn 1. And it's Ripper versus Overtaker and De Silva. De Silva down the inside, as De Silva has a loose back end. That's going to allow Overtaker to go down the inside of turn 2. And he gets the job done. We've lost Wolfinator. And right now, Overtaker goes side by side with De Silva. De Silva stays down the inside. Overtaker runs wide. And De Silva holds on to second place for a minute, and Overtaker not too happy about that one. Peaceful losing out to Matt Ahimovic as Matt gets right onto the back of Overtaker right now. Meanwhile, Killer Camel is the rest of the pack. Overtaker is really not happy with De Silva as they just had a slight graze. That's all it was. As Matt now tags Overtaker down the inside. Peaceful goes round as well as Killer Camel gets involved in that as well. And Peaceful, out of all that, comes out the worst. As Overtaker as trying to stick to De Silva, but Ripper has pulled away from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, so we lost Wolfie then, and Billow again, so we have lost 2 drivers.
Billow has been attempting to get into the session, but he has failed to get in and race. He can, if he does manage to get in and finish the race, then that's obviously still points to his name, and Wolfinator says disconnected. As long as you get into the session, Wolfinator, you will score points for last place position. But either way, anything can still happen. Some people might disconnect, or people might end up in accidents, as you just do not know in this series of racing. Ripper though leads the way after lap 1, but De Silva is keeping a close eye on him. Now he's got a clean car with no one in his way. He can stick to the back of Ripper. Overtaker is in 3rd, Matt is in 4th, 5th is Nexus. He's had a good start with Benno in 6th, 7th is Breeze. He's worked his way up, as has Euro. Fury in 9th, Shane in 10th after starting last. He's up in the 10th place. He's got he's just behind Hitman. So Hitman is actually in 10th with Shane in 11th. Killer Camel is in 12th. Peaceful is in 13th. The SimPlay Racing Boys at the back with Emplava in 14th place position. As you see here, Killer Camel was on the attack of Shane down the inside of turn 1. And he gets job done, but he goes wide and Shane gets back past him.
As De Silva still within... Nope, De Silva so lost 4/10 of a second to the Ripper. Matt's 0.7 behind Overtaker. Benno's only 3/10 behind the Nexus, with Brees in close company as well.
And Fury giving Euro a hard time also, so there's fights up and down the grid as everywhere we look. But right now, it is still Ripper leading the way, but he's got a comfortable gap at the minute to De Silva. De Silva's not really losing him, and Overtaker is just hanging into the top 2 as well. Meanwhile, Nexus has lost out to Benno, who goes around the outside of the fast right-hander. That was a brave move, as now Breeze is now looking to make a move on Nexus. Is Nexus trying to retake that position? Meanwhile, Fury, as Breeze goes down the inside of Nexus into the hairpin, but Nexus with the momentum sticks to the outside and holds on to that position. Breeze will have to try something else a little bit later.
Indeed. Euro's still got Fury for close company. Fury probably getting bored of the back end of that Ferrari.
There is a train of cars behind Benno at the minute. Wolfinator has got himself back into the session. Sadly, he will be a couple of laps down, but like I said, he will still score points for 15th place, and every point counts. No matter what position you're fighting for, every point will count. And I know it's hard, and I know it's difficult to race, obviously, with it, Wolfinator, but trust me, I wish I'd raced at Paul Ricard even though I retired. It really does hamper the rest of your season, so finish every single race that you possibly can, even if it is just for 15th place position.
That cost you a Drivers' Championship, really, didn't it?
It did, yes.
If you kept going, and yes, it was Paul Ricard, and yes, it's not the best circuit in the world. I can think of worse ones, but anything to Zandvoort being one of them. Oh yeah, we go there later in the year.
We do indeed.
As Matt's 0.8 of a second behind Overtaker.
Yeah, he's keeping tabs of him. Overtaker might have to be looking in his rear view instead of looking forward.
See this bright Grello Bentley behind you. You gotta see it. You will see that coming towards you. In Matt's 150th race start, let's remind chat and everyone watching here at SimPlay.
Breeze is still all over the back at Nexus. Nexus seems to be really struggling at this phase of the race. Even Euro is having a much better race too here. He's currently in 8th place position and giving Breeze a hard time, as Nexus is really struggling with this whole pack of cars behind. The Hitman is just on the tail end of these lot as well. Meanwhile, Emprava is giving Killer Camel a hard time as they come into the final set. Shane has dropped down the order. He's lost out to Peaceful. But right now, Emprava right on the back of Killer Camel. Can he find a way through at the minute? Not down the back straight, he won't, as the top 4 have all separated quite evenly by at least a second or two. De Silva still just keeping within reach of Ripper, but Matt is really trying to stick with Overtaker at the minute.
Yeah, indeed. It's now 1.6 seconds between Overtaker and Matt. The closest battle is actually Nexus, Breeze and Euro.
Yeah, that's a great little scrap at the minute.
As the leaders are now probably finding their pace. As look at all the rubber build up on the outside of the off the racing line. Very handy in the wet, but when we had wet races, we didn't have the rubber build up.
We did not, as Benno taking a lot of curb there, bouncing really hard. That's really going to make his outside tyres dirty and probably lose a little bit of grip. But either way, Matt has now lost touch with Overtaker. He's now 2.5 behind, and Benno is now starting to creep onto the back of Matt once again. As we see,
within a second of Camel.
He's been giving him a hard time as well, has Emprava. As we see Thomas Marshall in the chat. Nice to see you in the chat, buddy. And hello to you. If you haven't done so, please, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button. It really does help us out here at SimPlay Motorsport, as we try and give you the best sim racing action as we possibly can. And at the minute, we're watching this great scrap between Nexus, Breeze, Euro and Fury, all going at it for 6th place, as Nexus has to defend. Breeze is sticking right with him. He's right on the rear wing of that Audi. Can he go down the inside of turn 1? The Audi looks like it's just got enough top speed, and Breeze is going to look to the inside, but I don't think he's far enough alongside him. Breeze, hands in there, your pro-am commentator. He's just hanging in there, and he's racing with his fellow commentator Matimovic, who is 2 places up ahead of him at the minute.
Indeed. the gap to the lead is stabilising at about 1.5 seconds. So, is De Silva keeping something in the bag, or has Ripper got any more in the tank? And we just don't know.
As Benno, I think, is just matching now. Matimovic, the two Bentleys, can't really do much about the top three at the minute. Nexus has still got the other McLaren of Breeze and the Ferrari of Euro right behind him as well. And these guys putting on a cracking show. Guys, if you do want to be... Oh, was that Fury?
That was Fury.
No, it's Fury. Fury's in the wall.
Fury mowing the lawn. You're not in a Honda, Fury.
Yeah, wrong Japanese car. The one that's just past you is the one that's meant to be doing it. But Fury in the wall, and he's going to be a bit annoyed about that one. Nexus still has got these two breathing down his neck. And if anything, Overtaker is now starting to bring the gap down to De Silva ever so slightly. But we're talking literally hundreds, maybe even thousands, because these guys are so evenly matched at the front. 1.3 between De Silva and Ripper, and De Silva makes it up in the final sector because he's now 1.4 ahead of Overtaker.
Even Stevens at the moment. If anyone's said the name of Stevens, sorry. My brother-in-law is.
So here,
go on, Dan.
I was just about to say, if anybody fancies getting involved in the action here at SimPlay Motorsport, then head over to the Sim Grid. Also, have a look at our social medias. I think we're on TikTok, I believe. So follow us on TikTok if you like. Instagram, Facebook, all those places as well. Head over to our Discord so you can get involved in the chat in the Discord, and also so you can get yourself involved for any events that are coming up your way. Obviously, we do have our end of season fun events. Possibly one of the Triple Crowns once again will be available to you to race at. And we've lost a driver. I'm not sure who we've lost.
Quit. Fury has quit the session, so I will note that because that will have to go in. Steward hat on as well.
It's a retirement for Fury. He's left the session. He's done. Meanwhile, Benno is putting Matimovic under some pressure in the other Bentley. The pit window has opened. Where is Ripper? He's in the final sector. Is he going to opt for an early pit stop, or is he going to stay out? These three are literally just matching each other lap for lap at the minute. Overtaker can't quite get close enough to De Silva, and I think the rear end of that McLaren is looking a little bit loose.
I think it's more controller, being on controller.
So Ripper in the final corner, he stays out. So does De Silva, so does Overtaker. Matt is under some serious pressure now from Benno. Is Matt going up to the pit? Yes, he is. And into the pit lane he comes. Benno now gets some clean air. Can he do anything to the leaders? That is the question. As Nexus has pulled a gap over Breeze because he's in the pits with Euro, and Hitman is coming in as well. Killer Camel opt into pit as well. As we've got Amplava coming into the final corner, he now pits as well. With Peaceful Explosion, he's opting to possibly pit as well. After a great qualifying from Peaceful, he has to pit with Shane in 13th. And Wolfinator has got out, but with Fury's retirement, there's another place for you, Wolfinator. There's more points on the board.
Exactly. Never give up. I had a bad night last night in Pro-Am, not gonna lie, I just had no pace at all. But did I give up? No, I kept going. Because I'm a stubborn person when it comes to that. As Dan is taking a drink. Overtaker's now within a second of De Silva.
Yeah, we are on board with these guys at the minute. So De Silva is being caught by Overtaker. I still think it's quite even between the top three, as I think De Silva has brought the gap down a little bit to Ripper.
Brees made up quite a lot of time in his pit stop onto Matt.
He did indeed. Did Matt have slight damage then? Possibly. Who knows? But either way, Matt has come back out on track. But the fight is really between the top three. Ripper into the final chicane he goes. I think Overtaker went a little bit deep and a little bit squirrely. He does. He seems to be struggling with the chicane as the top three go into the final corner. And I think Overtaker's lost time in the final chicane. So the top two matching each other.
Again.
Not what he wants, but half the grid have now pitted. So Benno into the pits. His goal now here is jump Matt. That is the goal here. as De Silva is still trying to work his magic onto the back of Ripper, as Ripper now has come back out, and just ahead of him is Peaceful Explosion, and Peaceful once again will have to get out of the way of the leaders. Breeze only 2.3 behind Matt. What can he do with Matt here? Just in sight here, what can he do to that Bentley while he's got the power of the McLaren breathing and snorting its way down the back straight, so he can try and catch onto the back of that Bentley, aka a Volkswagen.
Yeah. I think it's a Merc engine and a McLaren, isn't it? They bought the engine from Mercedes.
Not a clue.
I know that's what's in the V8 Aston, is a Merc engine.
My supercar knowledge is terrible. As Benno has gone green, he's been dropped, and I think he's going to easily clear Matt here, as he's going to be released now. Off the limiter he goes. Matt's now coming down the main straight, and I think Benno has got that one covered. Matt is going to be up to high speed. He has got tyre temperature already, but Benno is already down to turn 1. And by the time Matt gets there, he is now on the brakes and not quite close enough. So Matt losing a place there to Benno. Meanwhile, Nexus and Euro have been quietly minding their own business and going through the order, as Ripper has lost time trying to pass Peaceful, and he pits. He does make it into the pits cleanly as De Silva goes through. Overtaker has also pitted with him as well.
As here comes Nexus. Nexus has come into pit lane, really close to that line. Euro continues for another lap.
He just clips the wall as he comes into the pits as well, so that's not going to help him. He's going to get a little bit of damage from that. Wolfinator and Euro and De Silva, the only one still yet to pit. De Silva now has got clean air. He's got no dirty air from the back of the Audi. What lap times can he do on his own? That is the question. As Euro is now P4. Well, technically P2, but he was P4 as he passed Nexus. But right now,
has indeed. Shane's still in the pits and sitting there. As we watch Wolfie, does Wolfie come into the pits? He does not.
So we were talking about Breeze catching on to the back of Matt. He's actually lost time to Matt now, and Matt is now starting to put pressure on Benno, but it's only 1.9 separating the two Bentley drivers.
Yep. De Silva's actually in quite a bit of traffic, so he doesn't really have clear air. He's got Camel right, very early on the brakes in front of him, and now moving out of the way.
That is also Ripper's teammate as well, so the worst time to catch up to a car is Killer Camel, as meanwhile Ripper is exited the pits. He's got quite a gap over Overtaker after the pit stops. So Ripper is gone. Does De Silva decide to pit? That is the question. Into the final chicane we go. And De Silva now, he stays out. Yep, he's cleared most of the traffic now, so you might as well just stay out. You might as well keep going, as Hitman was the next car in front of him. Meanwhile, Killer Camel has got Peaceful Explosion breathing down his neck. Can he find a way through on him? That is the question as they head now towards turn 1.
Euro's in and he not clean.
Has Peaceful Explosion right on the rear wing of Killer Camel. He gets underneath him in sector 2, corner 2, as he's now trying to get the better run in corner 3, as Killer Camel has run wide. That's given Peaceful an opportunity to go down the inside. He's now got alongside Killer Camel. He gets the job done as they go into turn 4. Great move there from Peaceful Explosion in the Honda, and through he goes. Killer Camel losing a position there. Meanwhile, Ripper has been putting in some decent lap times. He's 6.1 already ahead of Overtaker. So Overtaker has actually struggled on this outlap, and he's got Benno and Matt coming at him. Meanwhile, De Silva still carrying on. He's really going to push that pit window as far as he dares, so he could possibly get the best opportunity while he can. He
has to pit this lap. He won't make it in time if he goes another lap.
We've ended the poll there as 60% of you reckon Ripper's going to win, 20% reckons it's going to be Overtaker, and then De Silva for 10, Peaceful, none.
Peaceful, it says 10. Oh, it says 10%.
Oh, 10, sorry. 10. Sorry, Peaceful. As De Silva now comes into the final sectors, Euro now exits the pits. Where is he compared to the rest of them? He's lost out to Benno, Matt, Breeze, and he's jumped Nexus. That's the person he was racing. He was racing Nexus, and he now jumps ahead of him. De Silva into the pits he comes, as Ripper is only now coming to the start of Sector 1.
you lose nearly a lap anyway around here because it takes a while to get down the pit lane and then you hold them for 30 seconds if you haven't got any damage or choose to not fix said damage.
So yeah, I think it's going.
Shane is still stationary.
Yeah,
he hasn't moved yet.
I don't know if Shane is even going to come out. That is the thing. So either way, we'll keep an eye on that one. As we have got Ripper, who's now into the final sector. De Silva has come to a stop. How long is this stop going to be? It's going to be tight. If Ripper gets into the final chicane and it goes green, that's how tight it could be. As now Ripper is now into the final sector. Drive-through penalty for Hitman for track limits. So De Silva, is he going to go green? No, I think Ripper may have got him on this one. Yes, he has. Wolfinator is into the pits. De Silva now comes out and Ripper will retain the lead quite comfortably as De Silva now comes off the limiter. There is Overtaker. If anything, De Silva is going to be under pressure from Overtaker as he gets towards turn 1. De Silva going out longer. Didn't really work for him at all, but he will have fresher tyres towards the end of this race.
Yep, indeed, and well, let's see how it plays out in the last 10 minutes as Hitman's got 2 laps to serve his pit drive-through as Wolfinator has moved up to 13th. This is what happens when you keep going.
He has indeed. The two Teletubby Motorsport boys have thrown in the towel by the looks of things, and this has allowed Wolfinator to gain 2 more places. Every point counts. As we look at Nexus here, who's trying to catch Euro, but Euro just seems to be extending that gap ever so slightly. Meanwhile, Matt has brought the gap down to Benno. Benno, I think, looked like he was about to put pressure on Overtaker, but if anything, he's got further away from Overtaker. And Overtaker is not far behind his fellow McLaren driver, De Silva, who's in second place, who has lost quite a bit of time to Ripper in the pits.
I was just replying to that comment in chat. So, yeah, DJ Phil races in Pro-Am. He raced last night because he's my teammate.
Ripper still needs to weigh 5.3 ahead of this pairing of De Silva and Overtaker. Overtaker seems to put his actual foot to the floor, or in this case his finger to the back of the controller, and is now really starting to pressure the back of De Silva. Only 8 tenths separating those two. Meanwhile, Nexus has lost out to Hitman, who Hitman has got a drive-through to serve. When is he going to serve it? That is the question. Is he going to leave it to the very end? That is the question. And as we've learned, Killer Camel learned anyway, he left it as he tried to keep going and try and add the time on, but it doesn't work. You have to serve the drive-through.
You do indeed have to serve that drive-through, or you get disqualified and it'll be put down as a retirement.
So right now, Overtaker really hassling the back of De Silva. They came together at the start of this race, and right now, De Silva trying everything he can to keep the other McLaren driver behind. But at the minute, Ripper is going to make it 4 from 4 at the moment. He's got 8.5 minutes left to go. And right now, he is well ahead of these two who are having a right little scrap. Overtaker is right on the back wing of De Silva right now.
If these two hold each other up, Benno is only 4 seconds behind, and Amet's a further 1.5 seconds behind Benno. As Overtaker looking around the outside, off the hairpin, that might not work, but bravo for trying.
Yeah, but what that does is compromises De Silva's line. Overtaker gets stuck on the curb there, and that compromises his line and loses traction and loses time. As De Silva runs wide, Overtaker gets a wiggle on as these two are really close to one another, and there is Benno just in the background. So the gap was 4.2. After this lap, they're going to cross the start-finish line. There's Ripper way out into the distance. It's 4:10 separating these two. 4.2. It's now 2.7. So Benno has found pretty much a 1.5 seconds on these two while they were scrapping, but while they're scrapping, he's just pulling Matahimovic with him as well. So De Silva right now, if anything, he's backing Overtaker up into the two Bentleys.
Maybe there's a bit of play by the independent driver. Shane is back circulating, and Hitman has come into the pits to serve his drive-through. Hopefully he don't get a speeding penalty on the way out. Yep, Shane is back out on track continuing, so Teletubbies have not thrown the towel in yet.
No, Shane obviously will have to score a point, knowing that he could possibly have to do another qualifying ban, which really doesn't help you at all, as the drive-through has cleared for the car 666 of Hitman.
Yeah, don't get confused with the other 666, what we have in Pro-Am. Not in Pro-Am, in Am, with Emo Guy in the Nissan Skyline. Well, not Skyline, GTR, R35.
Oh, both of the McLaren boys really breaking late in the hairpin. And to be honest, where I said that Benno was catching by 2.7.
I hate to interrupt you, Dan, but Empalava has just got past Camel.
Yes, he has. We just catch the end of that. He has indeed. And they've got Hitman not too far behind them either. So Camel losing out to Emplava there and dropping down the order. Peaceful explosion in no man's land at the minute as we go back to the fight in front. De Silva and Overtaker working a little bit together there. They managed to keep a decent lap time with them and have extended the gap now over Benno. So it was 2.7, it's now 3.2. So Benno losing out. Matt, no real pace on these three either. So Matt's just dropping off the back of these guys.
Euro's having a quite quiet race in 7th. He's pretty much on his own now. About 4 seconds behind Brees. Wait until Nexus, 5 seconds in front of Nexus.
Killer Camel just went wide at the hairpin. This is allowing Hitman to have another look at him, but Hitman needs to make sure he doesn't keep getting a track limits violation. He has already done a drive-through for track limits, and now he's right on the rear wing of Killer Camel. Can he find a way through? He ain't going to get it on the exit of that chicane because he was a poor exit from him. But either way, that Aston has got quite decent straight line speed compared to the Lexus. Can he find a way down towards turn 1? That is the question. We keep an eye on the gap between Overtaker and De Silva. It's 4/10 separating those two, but the Aston Martin can't quite get far enough alongside the Lexus. But meanwhile, Killer Camel's gone wide. That's going to allow the Aston Martin of Hitman to have a look around the outside, but he thinks better of it. Meanwhile, Overtaker right on the rear wing of De Silva. They're in the middle final sector, so it's really going to be difficult for him to overtake. So we go back to Hitman, who's looking for a move on Killer Camel, but he can't do so. But Killer Camel's going wide, or loses the rear end, and that's pushed Hitman wide. And Hitman still can't find a way past. We go back to these two, Overtaker and De Silva.
Hitman's down on the inside of Camel into the left-hander.
We just get the end of that. Killer Camel looks to try and make a move back on the inside of him.
He does, and Overtaker's now about a second behind De Silva. So Overtaker's lost a little bit of time.
And I think that was covering that chicane once again. That chicane seems to be Overtaker's Achilles heel. He really needs to tidy up that final chicane so we can get the run on Overtaker to De Silva into turn 1. Meanwhile, they did have a gap of 6.1 behind Ripper. They brought that down to 5.7, so don't read too much into that. I think Ripper is just taking his time and just keeping it easy and facing it the right way.
Cruise control. Great thing. Camel's still sleeping with Hitman, but I don't think the Lexus has the legs over as we say, evening to Gary 131. Hope you're enjoying your holiday, mate.
Come on, Team Jaeger. Well, Matt didn't have the best race 1. Race 2 has been better, but I think Matt is starting to think that Paul Ricard was such a long time ago after being on the podium with De Silva. But right now he's P5 and struggling to stick with Benno. Benno's just managing to manage that gap. Once again, Overtaker is on the back of De Silva, but every time he gets close, De Silva just does not look phased whatsoever. He did have a wobbly moment when he first started attacking him, but ever since then, De Silva seems to have got him covered. But this is the problem, PN. When you first get attacked, it's very easy to lose the lead or your position because you're not sure what the guy is going to behind you do. After the more laps that go by, you start to learn what the attacker's doing, and then you're able to defend much, much easier because you know exactly where they're stronger and where they have the advantage.
Indeed, though I wouldn't know. I'm not that quick enough to win. Maybe an am if I ever get relegated. As Peaceful's gone wide up the hairpin, I just jumped over to him, so a little mistake by Peaceful Explosion. Hitman is less than 2 seconds behind Empalava, and Camel's now dropped off 4.5 seconds, so that battle is well and truly diffused now.
The only closest fight on track is the two McLarens of De Silva and Overtaker. Now Overtaker is in range to try and attack, the closest he's been for a while, 2/10 as they went through Sector 1. So it seems like Overtaker has the pace in Sector 1 and Sector 2, but De Silva just seems to tidy up Sector 3 and keep that advantage ahead. Ripper now is into the start of the final sector, and he'll be starting his final lap very shortly. He's going to, by the listening, takes it from 4 from 4. Could be on pole for race 1 next time. Race 1, where is it in 2 weeks? Where is it in 2 weeks?
I think it's Brands Hatch, because it's also the same week that Porsche Carrera Cup starts.
I
think, as I keep an eye on the battle between the two McLarens of De Silva and Overtake.
It is Brands.
And Gary likes a British track.
He loves a British track, and if he's in that Porsche as well, he gets that hooked up. He could be in trouble, guys. So Ripper now starts his final lap here. Could Gary finally get his 25th pole?
I don't think it counts on reverse grid, though, if that's a pole or not, but if he can set it in qualifying for race 2.
I'm saying for race 2, because it is Brands Hatch. Gary's in the Porsche, you know, a combination that should really be lethal. Gary, rear-wheel drive Porsche, British circuit. As a lot of people know from SimPlay Racing, if you've been with us for a while, you will know that Gary is a demon around the British tracks. Lovely, could be on pole for Brands then, says Gary. Any British track in Gary, you're in trouble, especially Snet. Don't know what it is about Snetterton. He seems to be so good round there.
Probably in fact, there's only about 45-50 miles up the road from him.
I don't think I've ever beaten Gary at Snetterton. It's the one track that I don't think I can get near him. There's just something about Snet that, although saying that, me and him had a fantastic scrap. Me and him had a fantastic scrap at Silverstone a couple of seasons back.
So, Zolder is next week, Gary. That's the other one that you're missing.
Ripper now into the final sector once again. I think the round to keep an eye on for Gary 131 and the Porsche is Kyalami, because I think the Porsche and Gary at Kyalami could be a pairing that could be very, very fast. But either way, Ripper now into the final corner. He's going to make it 4 from 4. Can anyone stop this man from winning? De Silva's taken 2 first wins. It has been Ripper ever since. He takes the win here at round 6. De Silva is going to hang on to P2. Overtaker will take P3. Benno is going to exit the final corner and take 4th place here. Great start from him. Matinovic is going to have to settle for 5th, as Breeze will come home for 6th place. Euro is not too far away from Breeze. I say not too far away. He's in the final sector. There is Breeze. Euro, he's in 7th place position. A good race there for Euro. Decent points for him in the end, as we now got the last few guys coming across the line. Nexus into the final sector. He is in P8. A very average drive from him tonight. Really not been the start that he probably would have wanted tonight, but he will come home in 8th place position. So decent points nonetheless for Nexus. Peaceful will come home in 9th, with M. Brava still holding off Hitman. Can Hitman just about get him towards the end? That is the question.
Yes.
As Emplava just hangs in there, as Hitman will come home for 11th. So 10-11 for Emplava and Hitman. Killer Camel is going to come home for 12th. Wolfinator will finish in 13th, and Shane will finish in 14th. As that man, Ripper, once again, 4 from 4. What can anybody do to stop this guy from winning? Maybe a little bit of rain can possibly slow him down.
Wolfie just hit the wall.
As I will get a poll out for driver of the day. PN, I want to come to you for driver of the day. who do you think it's had to go to? By the way, well done. You've now got a point over me after that one. So we're now 4-2. So congratulations on that one. But who was your driver of the day?
Gripper. You can't take it away from him, can you? He's just so dominant and patient. Patient in that reverse grid race to come through. Oh, Nexus, as he's just said in chat, he put used tyres on the car. Whoops.
Not what you want to do at all. I'll tell you what, though, the driver I'm going to give it to, I'm going to give it to Benno, I think. I think Benno's had a very, very good drive, very good points from himself here tonight. We have got Overtaker in the party. I wasn't expecting to do interviews, but we can.
We did them in AM. We did do interviews in AM, so...
Oh, okay. Well, better play then. We'll have a... Oh, he's gone now. But...
oh, never mind.
Well, I think we'll have to put a poll out in the Discord just to see... if people are happy to. Obviously it'd be pointless if we just had one interviewer each time, but either way, Ripper does win this one out. There's a poll out for driver of the day, gets your votes in for driver of the day. I'm now just double checking the tables. I'm just waiting for that to be updated. I believe it is. Looks like it to me. As we head to the next round of the season, which is, let's have a quick look. It is Zolder. We head to Belgium for the next round of the season. Been there once already with Spa. Now we're heading back again for Zolder, where Matt famously overtook me in the pits, and I was not happy with the stewards about that one. But either way, we head to Zolder for the next round of the season. But your championship standings looks like this. Ripper still leads the way, 24 points ahead of De Silva. Third is Breeze now, as Benno is in P4. Wolfinator drops down to P5 with Peaceful Explosion P6, Nexus P7. Matt is in P8, Emprava P9. Overtaker is up into P10 level on points with Emprava. Fury is P11, 12th is Euro, 13th is Killer Camel, T is 14th, 15th is Hitman, 16th is Gary, and 17th is David. Shane is 18th, 19th is F1 Billow, and still yet to make an appearance is Big Boy Brazier. So I'm just doing the driver of the day poll at the minute, 7 votes. Most of you have gone for Benno. Most of you have gone for Rippo. Benno with 14%, but Benno will get one off from me, and Bravo will... PN will give one to Ripper, and I think that is it. Ripper is your driver of the day, so congratulations to him. Team Championships, 50 points, well out in front is Killer Performance Motorsport with SimPlay Racing now up into P2, with JWB Esports in P3, as JWB Esports 2 has dropped to 4th. Jaeger Motorsport are in 5th. 6th is Teletubby Motorsport, and Button Bashers are in P7, and McLaren once again extends their gap over Bentley, with Ferrari in 3rd, Aston Martin 4th, Audi in 5th, Honda 6th, Porsche 7th, Lexus is in 8th, 9th is BMW, 10th is Mercedes, 11th is Nissan, and Lamborghini bringing up the rear. PN, quick sum up of this night's worth of racing. Ripper once again ripping up the track and showing why he is the man to beat this season. Can anybody stop him? And what are we expecting at Zolder?
Zolder's an interesting track. It's not very wide, so overtaking is going to be more of a issue. And plus some chicanes, one of them's a bit of a yeetus deletus. And also, if you remember programming Zolder, Daz going to the moon.
Indeed, he did. Zolder should definitely be an interesting circuit. A very tight, twisty circuit indeed. Probably should suit the likes of the Porsche and stuff like that. But either way, keep an eye out for these cars appearing soon. The Porsche Super Cup, they will be appearing very, very soon. That Brands Hatch, it will be their first round of the season. What can you see from those guys, as it will be on a Sunday night? Can I get my wheel and all fixed before then? is the question. But also make sure you tune in to next week as we have the AMs, Pro-Ams, and also the Pros returning once again as we fly to Belgium for the 4th round of the season. We head to Zolder for the next race of the season. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you want to do anything involved with SimPlay Motorsport, then head over to this SimGrid. And if anybody is in the Discord and want to get involved in helping out the team even more, then help yourself to signing up to being a part of the team, whether you want to be a steward, you want to be a commentator, or any of those wonderful things. Please, the more help we can have here, the better. The more help we can, the better, and it'll make the team run so much better. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to be notified, and we will see you in a week's time in Zolder. From myself and PN.
I never had the chance to run, leave behind the said and done, figure out what's to come.